Hello and welcome to Blytheway Business News. I am Bonnie Hughes. Our guest today is Phoenix Copper. They just raised £850,000 and the majority of it, or more than half, was done by notes, therefore less shareholder dilution. And the equity portion was done at a premium, which is very rare in this market. Here to tell us all about how they plan to use the proceeds and what is planned for the project is Chief Executive Officer Dennis Thomas. Hello, Dennis, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, Bonnie, and it's nice to be with you once again.
Excellent news on your raise, considering it's very difficult for mining companies to raise money in this market. How on earth did you get that done?
Well, I think a combination of extremely hard work, particularly by our executives, and I think, how could I say it, people recognizing the value of what we had, particularly new shareholders, as well as our existing shareholders. We've had great support from our shareholders, and our chairman, Marcus Edwards-Jones, and Richard Wilkins, our CFO, have done sterling work in the city. And as I said, I think the value of what we have is understood, particularly with regard to the raising of the equity portion. And people also have taken up our loan notes and realised the value in those. So, yeah, we've been very pleased with raising this money, as you say, particularly in this market.
So I understand that £510,000 was done at on the notes at a 12%. And do you want to give us any more details on the note side? They're unsecured, which is quite good.
So yeah, unsecured with a coupon of 12%, repayable on the 31st of January 2021. And they also carry with them a warrant for every dollar that's taken up. So in other words, we've got at the moment $650,000 in loan notes, with 650,000 warrants that will be issued, valid until the 31st of July 2022, and exercisable at 20 pence per share. So I think that's pretty good value, if you know what I mean. And I think, as I said, you know, it recognises the potential of what we have, particularly in view of what we're looking at Red Star.
And the equity portion was about $310,000 done at 17 pence, whereas
yes,
your stock is trading at about, what, 14 pence?
About 14 pence today, yes. And again, this was done, as I say, the value we've always considered, as you well know, we've always considered ourselves massively undervalued. And particularly as we've got, as we've progressed through the history of our mine since IPO, we've slowly been unraveling an ever-improving story. A story not only of, if you like, initially of the Empire copper oxide deposit, but also our drilling has been particularly successful in revealing the sulfides at Red Star. And we've always maintained that, in fact, the oxides were just the tip of the iceberg. And now we're starting to delve underneath and along strike at Red Star. And I think that potential of the Red Star development, the find that we had at the end of the drilling season last year, is now emerging. We had 3 holes, which gave us a very significant resource. On 3 holes, we were able to really outline a basic resource of 1.6 million ounces of silver equivalent, just from 3 holes. So now we're in a position to be able to exploit that, and people, I think, are understanding the value of that and the versatility, if I may say so, of that whole mineralized system.
And so the use of proceeds, you're planning to use those to focus on the Red Star? Is that the plan? And,
yes, indeed.
And so will that include some geophysics, some drilling? How you plan to deploy that capital?
Primarily, well, the plan is that we're ready to go in within probably next week, starting to cut the roads in for the drilling pads. We will be sampling straight away from that, doing surface sampling. It's interesting, there's not a lot of rock exposure, even though it's on the side of a mountain, and it's steep ground. So we'll be sampling following the dozers as they cut the roads. And then at the beginning of January, all being well, we will commence our shallow. It's a shallow drilling program. Holes will be, well, depends on what we find when we get to the drill pads, but I should imagine 300-foot holes, shallow holes, and we will take it from there, really, and which will give us good news flow over the coming months. So the object is basically, as I said in my statement, we're looking to expand those resources from those 3 holes to generate a mineable resource, ultimately from which we can develop an underground mine, and producing silver primarily, but also with lead, with zinc, and we also have copper in there. So it'll be a sulfide deposit with fairly simple metallurgy, all at this stage with the work we're doing on patented land.
And how many drills do you have turning at the moment, and are you drilling currently?
We're not drilling currently. We're ready to mobilize the rigs at the beginning of January. That's where we stand at the moment. So we will have roads being cut, as I said earlier, at sometime probably at the end of next week. Ready to mobilize the drill rigs on around about the first week in January, all being well.
Okay, and will you have, what, 2 to 3 rigs drilling at the time, or?
At this stage, we'll probably have 1 rig up there, which will be going flat out all of the time.
So you can drill 24/7 then?
Yes, indeed. In winter on the side of the mountain.
That's excellent news. And so obviously, how long does it take to get assay results out of Idaho?
Well, currently we're looking 6 to 7 week turnaround, there or thereabouts. And interestingly, as an aside, if you have a look at the claims maps that we have in our presentation, you'll see that we have Navarre Creek, which is our gold prospect. Now, we're not far off getting the results, some initial geochemical sampling results from the Navarre Creek area, which is approximately 4 miles to the west of the Empire Mine. And that's on a 6 to 7 week lead-in time for those results. So we've actually got a very, how should I say it, polymetallic mineralized system that we have. And we've also got some Navarre Creek results that are due fairly soon as well.
And so is the next step, is the plan to do some metallurgy? Is that what you plan to do on the Red Star?
Well, I think Red Star, we're looking really to sort of assess what we have around about the middle of next year. That's our plan. At that stage, we'll have a very good idea what sort of resource we have, grade, tons. We'll be getting an indication of the size of what we have. I think also I think the metallurgy for this will be a lot simpler than, for example, the Empire Oxide mine. In other words, it'll be, I think, a fairly standard flotation mill, differential flotation. I think we'll be producing silver and lead. We may get some zinc. There's also some gold there. But the other thing as well that we have in the skarn, we have a garnet magnetite skarn. We'll also have some magnetite in there as well. So it could be we have magnetic separation in with the flow sheet also, and produce a small magnetite concentrate. But for us, the value of what we're looking at now is high grade silver, and the silver results are particularly exciting, and especially as Nigel Maund in his recent report highlighted the similarities between the results that we were getting at Red Star and the reported production from the mines to the north and northwest of along strike from Red Star, which are the White Knob mines, Bluebird mine, and the Horseshoe mine. The grades, very high grades of silver, lead, and zinc that were obtained from the results of those mines and the mining operations there are very, very similar to the Red Star results as well. So the potential going north for the new areas that the new claims areas that we pegged in 2018-19 are now beginning to bear fruit.
So you're looking in other exploration areas around the Empire Mine because you discovered the Red Star through exploration. So you're potentially looking at, hopefully, you might find some other potential deposits around the Empire Mine.
Oh, I think yes. From Empire, the strike length of we have a skarn ore body, and the strike length of the skarn ore body is now the original. In fact, all the work that's been done in the past has been done on the Empire Mine, or the recent work, that is, in other words, since about 1964, has been on the Empire Mine oxide deposit. Nothing has ever been done on the sulfides beneath the Empire oxide deposit. Nothing has been done then along strike to examine the continuity of the strike length going north. We have recognized that as having great potential in the system, and therefore when we drilled at Red Star, in fact, we found almost, you might call it, the missing link, which joined, if you like, the Empire system with the Red Star into White Knob, into Bluebird, into Horseshoe. So in fact, we've added another 2.5 kilometers of strike length onto the 1 kilometer plus already identified at the Empire Mine. So if you like, the continuity now, we're looking, in fact, overall, possibly up to 5 kilometers in length of a, if you like, a skarn mineralized system with numerous old mines and shafts. Plus, we also have the Navarre Creek, where we have best part of nearly 6 kilometers of strike length there, of prime gold exploration territory to the west of the Empire Mine. So Nigel Maund, in fact, in his report states that he believes that probably 1% of the whole Empire mineralized system has yet been tested, and we've always said we firmly believe that we're really just on the tip of a very large iceberg, and this is beginning to come out now as we continue our work and we slowly unravel the skarn and the mysteries of the Empire system.
Well, that sounds like you have a lot of blue sky, Dennis. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to hearing your progress and watching your news flow and seeing your assay results. Please join us again. Thank you for joining us on Blytheway Business News, and have a profitable day.